This is my pet instrument. I play also brass. I have periods where I brush up on my saxophone or clarinet skills, but I don't know, for some reason I prefer this underrated instrument. I like the instrument. I do not like what's going around the recorder. I mean, the problem is I see a lot of snotty people, let's call a spade, who really pose when they play the recorder. That is so serious, and I don't like this seriousness that it's about classical music, and the other thing is people who cannot play to save their lives, and I was one of them at the beginning, no question about it. When I posted the first videos, I was not really in tune. I don't say I'm completely in tune now, because I think that the aim is to produce music, not to show that you're completely in tune. I don't say you should be out of tune, but you know, that's not the aim, the main goal. I couldn't exploit all the nuances that the instrument can produce. Listening to classical music made me be aware of different sounds, and then I decided, oh, I don't go for exactly that, because I'm not one of them. I don't have that background. I like listening to that. Now and then I play it, but I know that there's more to it than this. This is the main problem with the recorder, that has been dug out to play old music in a conscious way. I mean, conscious of the original way of playing music with the original sounds. But from that moment on, the recorder was identified with that music. I see that there are some more modern things, contemporary music, but one of the problem, or the good thing about the recorder, is that the recorder in itself, whilst we have more or less one standard clarinet, okay, we have two system of keys, but more or less one standard saxophone and one standard flute, the recorder really can be very different. I mean, the shape of the body can be very different, conical, not conical. I mean conical, I mean tapered, not conical this way, conical this way. You have medieval, Renaissance, but early Baroque, and modern recorders. So when you speak about the trumpet, there's one trumpet, and the fingering are standard. The same goes for, okay, trombone is, there's no way to do another way, because it's, but anyway, so when I started playing the recorder, replaying the recorder, because the recorder actually was my first instrument in 1977, when I restarted, it sounded so far-fetched to me, playing a jazz recorder because I didn't have internet access. I didn't know there were other people still doing that. I didn't. I wasn't aware that you can attain a certain level of finger dexterity. This is our main problem. People who have a saxophone, clarinet and flute background, since they have keys, they take for granted that you can never do that because they haven't been practicing the recorder long enough to have that kind of dexterity that will never be as a very you will never play as a deft, accomplished saxophone player, but the level of a good, advanced recorder player can be the same of a standard saxophone player of the 30s or 40s. I don't speak about Charlie Parker. Even if you can play Charlie Parker on the recorder, but one thing is to read and prepare it. Another thing is to be able to come up with this while you're playing. So if you haven't been practicing some passages, one thing is when you've been doing that, you have been studying that before, and the other thing when you play freely, because most of recorder players are not able to play freely and in tune and improvising, because the problem with the recorder, the moment you get carried away, the same goes with intonation and sound. I decided that my main goal is to be expressive, and I can accept a little bit of imperfection in my playing. If being perfect means being restrained, I prefer a little bit of imperfection. I don't know, maybe in some time I can match the two things. For the time being, I'm not able to do this, and I've never seen anyone doing this up to now. I mean, really a person who plays a recorder with the same level of fluency and musicality and jazzmanship. I mean, the ability to play jazz and to sound jazz, not to sound ancient music. Or yes, I haven't seen anyone, and I don't want to be mean, but reading other people's, as I said before, improvisation is not like being able to improvise. It's not the same thing, and those who have seen it, they don't have a background. I mean, they haven't been doing practicing and posting or recording really a fair amount of standards, so they always skip. I mean, there is one from Israel that did something, then they stopped, and she's doing other things. So I haven't seen anyone consistently follow the common routine, which is being able to play on chords, being able to play several standards, developing more and more the ability to sound natural, not to play just patterns one after the other, to have a kind of also musicality, and when you play you can also produce a new melody. Not, I'm thinking about the way Lester Young, like a paraphrase, used to do, and this I haven't seen really, I haven't seen. I don't say that there are technically, yes, there are some people who did do 2 or 3 things quite well, but that's not enough to be a jazz recorder is. I mean, to be a champion, it's not enough to win once. Real champions have won several times. So to be a real accomplished jazz recorderist, you need to have produced 2 or 3 CDs where you play standards and maybe some originals, but you should be able to play consistently and even the same songs in several ways. And I can do that. I mean, I don't want to brag, but if you see my videos, I play several times the same things, and you can see after some months there's more fluency, there are more ideas, it's less stilted. And why? Because I practice every day improvisation. That's the idea. It's like a language. If you don't speak the language every day, however much you try on paper to learn it, it's not the same thing. I know I use accompaniment, but like CDs, but they're very good, and I sometimes play with other people, with a guitar player, and my idea is to produce, I don't know, because it's not easy to find people who embark on this journey like a real true blue genuine recorder band. Maybe I'll do something with a pianist. I'm not much into originals. I mean, I know that if you cannot write a good song, let's make it do with what we have, and I just play standards, even not so common standards, but I play them. I sometimes play modern music. I like to improvise off the top of my head, like free, but I've improved even the ability to play that, because it's very difficult to play free. It's like to write free poetry. Most of the times you just produce nonsense. So doing that now and then helps me also open my mind when I play on chords. Why I use this? I like this. I have a wooden ones because I like the tone of the bressan, and if I had the money, I would buy handcrafted, man-made bressan, because I really like the tone. It's so sweet, it's so expressive, and even this plastic one by Zenon, it comes through for me, really. At the beginning I disliked it, but it's growing me really. What I haven't noticed is that in spite of the fact that I really improved, and I don't want to be humble, because I don't like false humility. I really improved a lot in 2.5 short years. I would have expected some positive feedback by professionals, and I came to the conclusion that these people will never admit that somebody outside their background, classical ancient music, is worth their attention. I just think that they will never consider anything played on a plastic recorder at home in a video without other real people. So they don't like jazz. Jazz is not their cup of tea. So I just write off their feedback as useless. It's completely useless. They don't watch my videos. I don't play Telemann. I don't play Bach. I don't strike a pose when I play. I don't use expensive recorders, and this is something they cannot stand. And I know I'm not perfect. How could I be perfect? Most of the jazz players and the long story history of jazz they were not perfect. Now the technical level improved, but I still prefer expression than perfection. I intend to work a lot on my on the tone, on the articulation, without becoming a classical recorderist. I don't want to sound like I'm playing Bach. There's something, the moment I hear Bach or Telemann when I play jazz is the moment I say, oh, there's something wrong with it. I can do intentionally 1, 2, or 3 songs, but I want to show that there is another way to play the recorder, because every instrument, accomplished musical instrument, has a double life. Most of them have. The clarinet played in Vivaldi, in Purcell is very different than the clarinet played in jazz. Clarinet played in Dixieland is different from clarinet playing cool. So an instrument that has different faces, different facets, isn't a winning instrument. And that is why I still think the recorder is not a winning instrument, because its sound is so fixated, it's so recognizable, and that's not good. That's against the grain of jazz. Every person in jazz should have a different sound, a different there is not one way of playing the saxophone. You say Lexer Young as a cool, almost classical sound with not much, or with a little bit of vibrato, and it's not grainy, it's not reedy, the sound. You take Clonard Hawkins, it's the opposite. And they were even the same period. That's the beauty of jazz. You can have a dirty way of playing the instrument, like Pee Wee Russell, the clarinet, and a smooth one like Benny Goodman or Jimmy Noon. And this thesis, antithesis, it's very productive. And so I try to do my way, to learn it my way. It will take more time, but I will be more original. That doesn't mean I don't listen to what other people do. I do, but I don't follow the, like, do this, do this, do this, if you have a teacher. I am the teacher of myself. I see what other people do. I buy books. But at the end of the day, I don't want to do exactly what other people do, because I will end doing exactly doing the same thing that I do. I don't want to sound like them. I want to sound like myself. Okay, it was a long speech. Oh, goodbye.